All right, strap in. This isn't just any gig breakdown. We're talking about one of the wildest, most emotional, star-studded farewells rock has ever seen. Picture Black Sabbath saying goodbye on their home turf while the entire metal world shows up to bow before them. And let me tell you, there's one jaw-dropping, once-in-a-lifetime moment later in this video that you won't believe actually happened. Seriously, you'll want to hear about that chaos on stage. So stay tuned, because this wasn't just a show. It was a pilgrimage for metalheads everywhere. Let's set the stage in Birmingham. So let's talk about who took that stage first. All right, let's get into the opening barrage of bands. And these weren't your standard openers. These were Sabbath's spiritual heirs, hand-picked disciples there to pay tribute in their own way. Each set was like a love letter to Birmingham's favorite sons. First up, Mastodon. Their sound was massive. They didn't just play their own sludge-drenched epics. They unleashed a punishing cover of Supernaut. The guitars roared like grinding machinery, a nod to the industrial roots of Sabbath's hometown. You could practically see Tony Iommi nodding in approval backstage. Rival Sons took it in a different direction. Retro, bluesy, drenched in smoky psychedelia, they hit Electric Funeral like they were summoning ghosts from 1970. Fans in the crowd closed their eyes and let those dark, swirling vibes wash over them. Then it got nasty with Anthrax. Scott Ian came out grinning like the devil himself. They ripped through their own thrash classics, but when they launched into the void, the pit went nuclear. The way Joey Belladonna howled those lines, pure catharsis. Halestorm turned up next. Led by the unstoppable Lizzie Hale. Her voice, raw power. She tackled Perry Mason with the kind of ferocity that reminded everyone why Sabbath's message of doom and rebellion is timeless. Lamb of God weren't there to be subtle. They cracked the earth with Redneck. Randy Blythe's guttural roars turned that spacey original into something monstrous. Every beat felt like a war drum echoing across Villa Park. And then there was Alice in Chains. Their set was surprisingly emotional. They played their own classics like Man in the Box, drawing huge sing-alongs. But the twist? They paid tribute with a fierce cover of Fairies Wear Boots. It had that gritty, grungy edge Alice in Chains does so well. Raw, sludgy, and full of attitude. A powerful nod to Sabbath's early years, delivered with total respect. Finally, Gojira closed out the support run like French metal juggernauts. They brought primal, laser-focused energy to Mea Culpa. The crowd was spellbound, tight, brutal, flawless. Each band didn't just show up, they proved why Sabbath mattered. It was loud. It was raw. It was a declaration. Metal lives because Sabbath taught us how. Alright, so after that crushing warm-up, the day turned into a straight-up Hall of Fame showcase. This wasn't just a lineup. It was like watching the pages of metal history come alive. One band after another, each one paying tribute in their own way. But here's the thing. Even with all that star power, one big name dropped out last minute. Fans were buzzing about it, but the show didn't miss a beat. Want to know who bailed and why everyone's still talking about it? Stick around. Pantera was up first in this block, and yeah, I know the Abbott brothers are gone, but this reunion lineup carried their spirit like sacred flame. The crowd was chanting Dime's name before they even hit the first chord. They played Pantera classics with brutal precision, then detonated a monstrous Black Sabbath. Every riff was like a punch in the chest. Then Slayer, who had supposedly retired for good, stormed the stage. Kerry King's guitar spit fire. They slammed through, raining blood, with all the menace you'd expect. But when they started their rendition of Angel of Death, it felt genuinely dark, like they were channeling demons for one last ride. Tool brought a complete vibe shift. Maynard didn't say much, he didn't have to. The lights went low and they turned Hand of Doom into this swirling cosmic ritual. Adam Jones's guitar shimmered with texture. The crowd wasn't moshing, they were hypnotized. It was Sabbath's psychedelic side dialed up to 11. Guns N' Roses delivered pure stadium rock swagger. Slash and Duff nailed their own hits like they were born to it. But the real magic was Axl. He prowled the stage for Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, snarling those lines with that unmistakable rasp. The whole place lit up with cell phones filming every second. And then, Metallica, the big one. James Hetfield looked like a kid living his dream. They crushed Hole in the Sky and Creeping Death, then slammed into For Whom the Bell Tolls that seamlessly flowed into Master of Puppets. Lars was beaming behind the kit, knowing full well they were honoring their biggest influence. This wasn't nostalgia. This was metal's royalty paying respect to its creators. And the fans knew it. Singing, screaming, losing themselves in every note. Now, can you guess which iconic band was conspicuous by its absence? Motley Crue. They were on the original lineup, but dropped out just days before the show. Nikki Sixx said it was due to health issues in the band. Too bad. Okay, so if you thought the main lineup was nuts, wait for this part. Because just when it felt like it couldn't get any bigger, they turned the night into a swirling, joyful mess of rock royalty. Enter Tom Morello. He wasn't just playing guitar, he was the ringleader of an all-star circus. Imagine him with a grin, calling out musicians like a metal carnival barker. Get up here, let's go! He curated a rotating supergroup set that made everyone lose their minds. Members of Smashing Pumpkins, Judas Priest, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Van Halen, and Faith No More all joined in. It was controlled chaos. At one point, they did an extended, snarling version of Symptom of the Universe, and it turned into an actual drum battle. Travis Barker, Danny Carey, and Chad Smith were trading licks, showboating, cracking up, then locking back in, all while guitarists vamped that iconic riff. Then Billy Corgan, Tom Morello, KK Downing, Adam Jones, Rudy Sarzo, and Danny Carey took off on Breaking the Law. And it wasn't just the expected names: Sammy Hagar, Nuno Bettencourt, Adam Wakeman, Rudy Sarzo, Chad Smith, and Vernon Reid on Flying High Again, for instance, and Steven Tyler, Ron Wood, Nuno Bettencourt, Tom Morello, Andrew Watt, Rudy Sarzo, and Travis Barker on Train Kept A-Rollin'. It wasn't polished. It wasn't planned to the second. It was messy, wild, completely joyous, and exactly what a Sabbath tribute should be. And then, like the final act of a twisted carnival, the stage went dark. Spotlights cut through the smoke to reveal Ozzy Osbourne himself rolling out on a black bat-winged throne. Parkinson's or not, he wasn't going to miss this. The roar was deafening. He stood with help, mic in hand, eyes glinting with mischief and defiance. And he gave the fans exactly what they wanted. First, I Don't Know blasted with that iconic riff. Then Mr. Crowley got 45,000 voices singing in unison. And Suicide Solution shredded the night. His version of Mama, I'm Coming Home was hauntingly majestic. And last but not least, Crazy Train felt like a confession and a celebration all at once. Through it all, Ozzy was Ozzy. Goofy, defiant, emotional. He thanked the crowd with genuine gratitude, telling them they were the best fucking fans in the world. It was more than a set, it was a farewell love letter. Then it was time. The stage cleared. The cheers turned into an electric hush. Everyone knew what was about to happen, and no one wanted to blink and miss it. From the side of the stage emerged Tony Iommi, black guitar in hand, the master of the riff himself. Next to him, Geezer Butler, stoic and cool, bass slung low. But the biggest roar of the night, that was for Bill Ward, the original drummer, finally back behind the kit. Fans who never thought they'd see the classic lineup again were in tears before they even hit a note. And Ozzy, he wasn't the Prince of Darkness in that moment. He was just a brummy kid grinning at his old mates. They locked eyes, shared nods, the unspoken, "This is it, lads." Then Tony struck the opening chords of War Pigs. Absolute bedlam. 45,000 voices screaming, generals gathered in their masses, back at them. NIB was demonic and groovy with Bill grinning behind the kit like he was 25 again. Ozzy paced the stage, arms out like a preacher, feeding on the crowd's energy. Iron Man rumbled like a tank over the stadium, Bill laying down thunderous and slightly loose, but real beats. Geezer's bass was a wall of doom. Tony's solo cut like a blade. And of course, they closed with Paranoid. No pyro, no laser show. Just four legends playing the songs they built an empire on. You could see Ozzy's eyes welling up. Tony and Geezer would glance at each other and crack tiny smiles. Bill pounding away, savoring every beat. When they took their final bow, arms over each other's shoulders, the entire stadium exploded in cheers, chants, tears. It wasn't a farewell concert. It was the closing of a chapter that defined an entire genre. The perfect ending in the place where it all began. So that was it. A night when metal's royalty bowed to its creators. A raw, emotional, once-in-a-lifetime goodbye in the city where it all started. If you were there, you'll never forget it. And if you weren't, I hope this made you feel like you were. Rock on.